Then Team Secret, back-to-back chicken dinners in match 2 and match 3, with Loops bouncing back to get their second in match number 4. But then we had Brazil reign supreme with Alpha 7 coming in, and of course EMEA with Navi with the CIS region closing things out today. It's honestly been a great day overall. We've had teams we expected to do well not perform. We had teams we didn't even think would be on our radar when it comes to being able to match up against the best teams in the world that's shown. And then we have the consistency out of teams like Loops, who we kind of expected to do well, but maybe not necessarily that well.
Yeah, falling off a little bit at the end. But like, what I'm really happy to see is like we got 50% of the wins taken by Brazilian teams. Like most people, when they think of mobile gaming esports, they think, you know, they think China, they think of Eastern countries, they think potentially even of Russia. But like really, when you look at the West, like Brazil is just this huge clump of like such talent when it comes to mobile gaming and esports, and seeing them take like 1 chicken dinner for Alpha 7, 2 wins also good in the way of Loops. Like I'm so happy to see Brazil show up in such big ways, and hopefully it's just the first good day of many, because they're just so good at the game.
And the funny thing is, Demon, is that most people see Americas as the weaker region.
Absolutely.
In general, especially when it comes to PMPL.
Across esports in general, or across the world, across all the esports, everybody always discounts them, but you know, you can't discount Loops. We saw it coming into it, just how strong they were from their own region. The big question mark was, could they carry it through? They almost did it at the World League back in July, but that was back in July. That was a long time ago. Have they still got it? Absolutely they have. But you don't win anything in the weekday.
That's true. Just because you're getting victories here doesn't mean you get the victories when they matter coming up on the weekend when we have our Super Weekend kickoff. But now it's time to get into something that I'm going to be really excited about, and I think everyone's going to be bragging about when it comes to the regions and, of course, who's performing well. Let's take a look at our top players by kills and see how this one will break down here. You see High Boy going to be up there with #1. I mean, we're not seeing his damage there, but I almost guarantee it's probably the highest one we got here.
I mean, he was at, I think he was at 17,000 when we saw him at 11 kills, right? So he's probably close to
17,000. That's insane.
17,000, 1,700. Sorry. So he's got to be close to 1,900 there, which we saw was close to what some teams had delivered. But look at this, Divine from Bluebees up in second place, massive performance.
Yeah, Japan able to show up in the top kills, really looking strong for him. And then you just got the side of, you know, of course, Nova XQF. You got yourself Order. You got Paraboy, which of course Paraboy has to be up there at the end of the day. He's one of the best players in the world, if not people call him the best player in the world. But Navi able to, his final moments, just take 2 spots in that top 10.
What's crazy to me is that you have Loops and Secret both with 2 victories, and yet they only have 1 player in our top 10 by kills.
Yeah.
And Secret had 3 fantastic games today.
Yeah, they did still one win away at the end of Sandhawk, so like they didn't really convert as many kills going their way, but still they did get the chicken dinner. I think that so far Team Secret are maybe relying a little bit more in like positioning points rather than kill points, but even when it comes down to kills, they do show up.
Well, I think it's time to even maybe take a look at our 2 top performing teams in our eyes, especially the ones who took home the chicken dinners today. Let's take a look at a head-to-head between Loops and, of course, I guess their opponent, their arch rival, or arch rival, or arch enemy, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be Team Secret coming through, both with 4 matches played. But look at that damage difference. 5K to 4.8, not too much, but Loops still edging things out.
Still pretty close, though. I mean, as you'd expect, both picking up 2 wins today over the 4 matches. And Team Secret are actually very close to being a 3rd win on Erangel as well. But yeah, just 200 damage difference. But damage received, you can see Loops have managed to avoid it because they were in that compound on Miramar. On Vikendi over on the coastline. So they managed to mitigate. I think they only had 400 damage received in that entire game.
They had, like, in the first one, I think it was 550, and game 2 was like 400 something. Yeah. So really showing that when they take these fights, they take them clean max.
Yeah, but what I like also to see from these stats, the fact that Team Secret, their conversion from knocks to kills is really strong, like 23 knocks or 25 kills. And when you see the knockouts and kills of the side of Loops, they got 21 knocks and 28 kills. So that can mean 2 things. Or they steal a lot of kills, or when they engage a fight, they finish it really quickly, because on the last kill, it actually doesn't count as a knock, it counts as an instant kill. So I think it's more the second option here, the fact that once they take a fight, they finish it. They don't leave anything on their plate.
This is actually one of their traits I've noticed in PMPL and World League as well, is that they always seem to have way more kills than knocks. So something about what this team is doing seeming to work well, and it's really hard to find any teams close out fights the way they do. Again, they're so good hitting that first nade, even with the nerfs that happen, to convert that into a clean wipe. But now it is finally time to get to the part of the show that I've been waiting for all day, and I'm sure you guys have been waiting for all day as well. It's time to take a look at our overall standings after our first day of play. Remember, that's only 4 out of the 8 matches in total.
There you go. Of course, like Team Secret and Loops, you were expecting those two teams to be at the very tippity top of the mountain, but we're still only halfway up. We've still got another day going on tomorrow. 63 points total going for Team Secret, 60 points going over to Loops. I mean, we were expecting it to happen. I'm not disappointed whatsoever.
I mean, I wonder where we see the cutoff point being tomorrow, obviously, once we get there. Obviously, we're talking about the top 16. That's where everybody needs to be. It's great that you are at the top right now. And at the moment, I would say Team Secret and Loops probably pretty close to being secured. Everybody else, you know, we could see some massive performances tomorrow from maybe people down in the lower half of the table. So I would say nobody's secure right now, although if you've picked up two big wins like Loop South and the amount of kills that they've converted, they're looking golden at 60 points already.
I mean, there's one team that's not there that I almost expected to be there. Bigatron. Not going to be in our top 8 at the moment. Again, just league play. All they do is get top 16, but you've got RRQ Athena coming through. You got Team Secret coming through. The SCA region starting to step up here, but again, it's nice to see Alpha 7 in there, Loops in there as well. So again, back to the Brazil thing of they're showing up when they've quote-unquote seen as a weaker region. But I think it's time now to take a look at our second page here. Another 8 teams that would be safe if we ended things off today. And there's another team that I just mentioned, not even in our top 16, boys. Yeah, Bigatron is not here, not safe whatsoever.
And look how condensed the points are there. I mean, that's just 9 points between 9th to 16th place. It is starting to get very condensed. And this is what we're talking about, how top-heavy it is. Because Loops and because Team Secret have picked up those big wins. And then obviously you have Adnova. And then actually just Na'Vi at the end there, having these big score wins, big kill score wins, which will launch you back up there. So it really is very tight. Like anybody in this stack right now has to be very careful tomorrow.
Yeah, Archer Gaming able to like climb back up and just somewhat secure their position in like, you know, top 9 to top 16. But what I'm expecting, like what I've been seeing so far today, we're saying, oh, I want to see this team in top 8, I want to see this team in top 8. But like this lobby is so stacked of such talent, such skill that like not everyone is going to make it, unfortunately. Even though all teams deserve to make it, like 8 teams at the end are not going to make it to the first Super Weekend.
That's the unfortunate part, right? Yeah. You want to see every team qualify, but there's got to be 8 teams who don't do it. And at the moment, if we go to our third page, these would be the 8 who wouldn't make it in to our very first Super Weekend. I didn't see Godset on page 1 and 2. I'm expecting them now to see them on page 3. But the thing is, there's these teams that are ones that are going to have to step up right now. We can see Godset there in 17th place. Was it 3-point difference between 16th and 17th? So that's literally not even one game. You just get yourself, 3 kills and you could be safe. And just to also remind you guys at home with how close the points are, if it's true to what we've had before, the kill or the rank separator is based off kills. If you have more kills than the opponent but you have the same amount of points, you're higher than them.
We saw that a lot happen actually in the European region where some teams would qualify by literally 1 point in the final time. I think it happened for Polar Race in EU. CISA was Alliance that barely qualified by 1 point. So it could actually happen to be the case for making it into the first Super Weekend. It could go down to who's got that 1 extra point, who's got that 1 extra kill. It could come down to it.
Abrupt Slayers, the #1 South Asia team down there as well, with just 3 placement points for the day, which is, 4 games played, 3 placement points. That is not good news. And obviously, as you say, they were #1 team from South Asia, so I'm expecting to see more from them tomorrow.
I mean, the upside is at least it's not like you have to play all your games today, right? They still have the extra day. They have the time to prepare tonight. But let's take a look at what's coming up tomorrow, our schedule of all the matches that'll be played, what groups are playing when, and if more importantly, what maps will be played when. So starting things off on Sandhawk with Group A and B, going over to Vikendi, Erangel, Miramar, Sandhawk, and Vikendi. So tomorrow we'll have the double Vikendis, not today, and we'll have double Sandhawk as well.
And important for that, Group C getting the double Vikendis, that is Bigatron, their arguably best map. If you were to look at historical stats, and even the all the casters over in Indonesia, they all call it their best map. So maybe that's where they can step up. Will we see one of those crazy moments where they have to go big in match 6? I hope not. Yeah, well, maybe I do.
I mean, the thing is, when you get to that point, right, Max, if you are right now not safe in top 16, it's your last match of the day, whether it's the last match of the day overall for the entire show or your last match, you don't want to have to depend on other teams to perform badly for you to qualify, right? You want to take your fate into your own hands.
Yeah, I think that really when you are in this final day and you have not yet secured a position in the top 16, it comes down to what we were mentioning earlier, D-Man, the fact that like you got every single game a group of 8 teams that are not playing. If you've done your research, if you got a coach, hopefully, as you mentioned, Jason, like hopefully every single team has got their coach. Like, do your research, know which compounds are free, and play very safe early. Do not go like Abrupt Slayers on that first game and fight versus Nova X Quest F. Avoid every early game engagement because the more early you take a fight, the less of the chance of you picking up those points that could make you go in that top 16.
And to be fair, I think what we've seen overall with today is that teams are playing a lot more cautiously. Or I can't even say cautiously. I think they're just more prepared in terms of like scouting properly, the Pogger scouts that you mentioned before, just being very aware of where teams are going to be so they don't have that drive-by and then all of a sudden, oh no, there's a team there, we just lost 2 players, right? They're being very careful and safe and playing very smart to not go out in that last position.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's where the analysts and the coaches make the money, right?
Yeah, they don't get to sleep.
They don't get to sleep at all, and why not? Because they have to drill down into what they've seen throughout the day, see if they can make adjustments. We talked about it at the start. Obviously, Pmgc was completely free on Erangel. Well, now the second match of Erangel, Milta and Milta Power were completely free because it was a fairly eastern plane. But you can still rotate over there. There's still plenty of time to get there and get the loot. So lots of areas of the map. That's just Erangel I'm talking about. Obviously, you've got Sanhok, Vikendi, Miramar. Lots of areas that were available that maybe we're going to see teams trying out tomorrow.
I really hope teams do take that time. Because with what's on the line, I mean, you got $1 million in this tournament, you got $1 million coming up for the finals, $300,000 for first place. If you don't put in the time, I don't think you deserve to take any victories. But I think that's going to do it, actually, for our show today. Demon and Max, it's been a pleasure. I hope you guys have had a great time as well. Hope you haven't been too weird, because it's my first time this year to work with actual people.
We promise.
I want to touch you to see if you're actually there. All right, well, you guys at home, thank you as well for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you guys, but I have to remind you one more time, we do have our little contest going on. We want to see you guys submit art that you created about PUBG Mobile. Maybe you want to draw Paraboy, maybe you want to draw Creo, draw your favorite map, anything like that, any art related to it. Make sure you tweet at esports PUBG Mobile with the hashtag PMGC. We'll choose our top choices by the end of the week, and you'll be able to vote for them over on Instagram. And if you do win, if you get one of those top placings, you get some lovely UC added to your account. But thank you again for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time for day 2 of the PUBG Mobile Global Championship.